to look at certainly the irrigation system and how
especially
efficient
within
it's
resort districts. I think that's very key. Advantages also include.
Hi, welcome to Going Green. I'm David Huboi, Chairman of the Green Business Committee of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce. Going Green is brought to you by the Chamber to promote economic vitality along with environmental sustainability. To fulfill this commitment, the Chamber supports meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. Today we will have a 5-member panel discussion on the San Benito County Regional Park and River Parkway Reach 3 project. Hey, let's get started. I want to introduce my guests. First here is, the first person I want to introduce is Janelle Cox. And she's the management analyst of San Benito County. And I was reading your bio, and it's interesting. I haven't told you this, but I was also a recreation leader too, many moons ago when I went to San Jose State College. So welcome to the show, Janelle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Don Kelley. And Don is a local businessman, as many of you know. He's been a business owner of Auto Works for 22 years. He's also chairman of the San Benito Parks and Recreation Commission. And you were the original chairman 5 years ago when that commission was originated.
That's correct.
Yeah. And also he coaches youth sports, volunteer advisor to San Benito High School Regional Occupational Program. Welcome to the show, Don.
Thank you, David.
And you've been on here before, too.
And it was a pleasure then. It's great to be back. Thank you.
He's a seasoned veteran, you know. And then Mark Paxton, as many of the community knows, that Mark is well-known in the community as a journalist, educator, and a naturalist. And he conducts tours that concentrate on the region's bird life since 1980, as I understand. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you, David.
It's great to have you on.
Thank you.
And then there's my co-host, as you all know, Shawn Novack, right? And we know who Shawn is, right? Regional, he's the Water Conservation Program Manager of San Benito County.
That's correct, David.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the Regional Park project that's been on the drawing board for quite some time, and it's kind of like the greening of San Benito County. And my first question would be to Janelle, is how the concept of this River Parkway and Regional Park, how it was conceived.
So this regional park and River Parkway are really all about community input. We started with the community in 2009 to ask them, what would you really like to see in this community? And this community is all about wanting a healthy, active community with diverse recreational opportunities. And so we went to them back in 2009 and developed this a Parks and Recreation Facilities Master Plan. And it was really evident from the input we received from the community at that time that they were very, very interested in having a river parkway. There was a multi-use trail that provided the community with an opportunity for hiking, biking, and equestrian uses. Mm-hmm. The master plan integrated those, the input from the community to develop a trail or come up with a master plan that connects this, both San Juan Bautista down to Tres Pinos with the trail. It would provide recreational opportunities in the regional park that would meet the diverse needs of the community and provide some opportunity to recognize and appreciate the agricultural community that we have here in San Benito County. So the master plan was adopted by the Board of Supervisors in 2010. And we went back to the community in 11 and 12 and asked them what elements they would really like to see in these two River Parkway and a regional park. So this master plan that we're working on is all about community input and meeting the needs of the community with the recreational opportunities.
Mm-hmm. So then the regional park came out of this master plan and the workshop procedure. Don, you played a significant role in that process. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes. Out of the community input, the elements the community asked for, and coordinating, developing this project, it was to not only build recreational amenities, but it was also to make sure that we covered all of the requests that covered cultural diversity, all the age groups that we need to accommodate recreationally, and also to offer partnership opportunities to develop the amenities that we need to have in this park to serve all of these needs. Economic attachment was key when we started looking at this project, understanding that it needed to have some sustainability. So looking at the area, the placement of the regional park allowed us to kind of look outside of just the recreation elements and also look at economic development that could enhance the community that way also. There are a lot of opportunities around the park for economic development that would also help with the sustainability of this facility.
Great. Now, before we discuss the alternative that pretty much you're going to go with now, is that, my experience working on the general plan and there was Vision San Benito, community input and workshops are so important. And I think that one of the intriguing things about this project is that it responds to a broad spectrum of the community with the variety of activities that this plan presents. So I did attend one of your workshops. I know Mark was there also, and Mary, and
I went to one as well.
You're one, and there were some alternatives that were presented that evening. So perhaps you can kind of discuss basically what came about during those workshops and why you're coming up with this what's called Alternative C plan. Is that correct?
That's that's correct, David. What happened was that there was a task force put together of stakeholders, community leaders, and they had a chance to input their thoughts and ideas into what they would vision the park to be. And then we had the information that originally came out of the master plan, which was the community's input. So in taking both elements, both sides, the stakeholders and the professional point of view on what this facility should be, and then weighing the input from the community, we actually took and morphed those together to come up with alternate C, which is a combination of building it right from a professional standpoint, but also entertaining all the wants and needs that our community requested and throughout all of the years of community input. So it's actually the two combined and weighed out into a viable option.
Do you, and Janelle, you might want to respond to this, do you feel that in the process of the master plan and the community input that was involved in the creation of the master plan and also the regional park alternative C, do you think that it represented a diverse representation of the community? Do you think there was and during that workshop process you had a lot of diverse input from the community, or was it just the do-gooders are typically there, I mean, the same folks, or you think you got a good representation there in that process?
Can I answer a little bit of this?
Sure.
We found that we had to go to the community, not set a meeting and expect them to come to you, but we actually went to different community members and to different diverse groups. So, for instance, we went to the migrant camp, the migrant families, to ask them what kind of elements would be important to you in a regional park and a river parkway. We went to the senior nutrition sites and asked the seniors at the lunch program there, what kind of recreational amenities would you like to see? And it's pretty amazing to hear that a swimming pool was the #1 request of the senior adults, because it's an opportunity for them to do exercises. The migrant community, it wasn't that they wanted a community center, but it's that they wanted a teen center. So again, you're looking at the culture and what's important as a priority to them, that they wanted a teen center. The equestrian group were very present, and so when we're developing the River Parkway, the idea was, well, we just can't have a paved trail, we need to accommodate the equestrian group in this community. And so the plan is going forward, is proposing that there be a separate equestrian trail in addition to a paved trail for the hikers and the bicycle riders. So I think we've tried to accommodate several diverse needs in the plan. And I don't know, did you want to talk more about the regional park components, the educational components too?
Right, and that was one of the other aspects that we actually went out, as Janelle said, you have a meeting and sometimes you don't get the whole scope of input. So we went to the schools and looked for partnership opportunities there. We went to the sports leagues and asked them, what was it that they needed to be successful, and how could their success lead to economic development for this county. And we took all of that information and just kept compiling until we felt comfortable that we had covered all of the aspects, sports, passive recreation, senior needs, youth needs. We looked at how we could attach this facility to juvenile justice and have aspects there where the youth could be involved and take ownership and have a pride of ownership in their community. So we really looked at all of it, including health and human services. You name it, we really tried to attach it to our recreation center.
Let me ask you this: did you go outside the community too? Because I know, you know, San Jose, with their Guadalupe River Parkway and things like that, they're up and running, and I'm sure you looked at other elements of other communities.
We did. We looked at I think every trail system and park system that is within reach of our county. And also looked at how we can attach this trail system to the existing trail systems of Santa Clara County, Monterey, and Santa Cruz County. So yeah, the attachment was taken into consideration. That's a key point in the partnership aspect of this project, and being able to attach to our existing partners at the National Park Service and the state park system that we have working relationships with now. So everyone trying to benefit each other in a huge partnership and reduce all that redundancy that tends to be an issue.
Great, and I think we need to mention the consultant that was used by the county through was the landscape architectural firm. Do you want to?
SSA Landscape Architects out of Santa Cruz has been our consultant along the way.
Right, yeah.
And they've done a great job with some conceptual design concepts to listening to what the community is requesting and placing it on a plan that accommodates all the diverse needs of this community. It's been outstanding.
Absolutely.
Now we mentioned you know, the plan and the community. They're looking for, you know, recreation, and they're looking to go out from their urban landscape and their work conditions or where they live, and to be able to walk to a park instead of having to get into a car and drive to a park, you know. So we're incorporating the green areas and open space areas into kind of connecting it with the urban landscape. I find that to be a great concept. And I know we had previously a guest on our show was Open Space Authority, and they're still working on the Three River Trail project, which actually helped partnering with the Parks and Rec of San Jose. They're creating those green belts within the urban landscape from, you know, Coyote Creek, Moscatis Creek, and so you can, you know, have a cup of coffee on your lunch break and go for a little hike, which is, you know, I think.
To me, one of the most exciting elements too is, you know, being water is my main focus. Just having people learn about our watershed, and you know, because I'm amazed. I go out to some of the schools and stuff, and you know, people don't know where their drinking water source is from. And I think if they realize we got so much groundwater, they might take a little better care of the watershed. So this new park system, I think, will help us achieve that. So it's really exciting to me.
Right.
And the trail system is intended to have educational components along the route. So there will be opportunity for scenic viewpoints where some sort of natural habitat can be observed, and if, as you mentioned, there can be educational components linking in the water system along the trail also.
And it's so critical for our county in particular, because the ag community is such an economic engine for the county. So having people interact with the watershed, it just thrills me. So.
Right.
And another component that's going to be an added feature for this community is potentially, once this trail is completed, it's a 20-mile route. So somebody could be living in San Juan Bautista, jump on the trail, ride their bike down the trail to the hub of Hollister and go to work. So it's also going to provide, hopefully, an opportunity for connectivity and commute route options.
Yeah,
I think that
go ahead.
I think that word connectivity is really so important.
It is.
And I know, you know, Mark here, I walk my dog Cleo sometimes at lunch hour, and I see Mark, he's pedaling his bike, you know, and I know how important it is, and I know we have a master bike plan, but it, you know, our bike paths seem to be, you know, disjointed and truncated, and, you know, it needs to, leads to a lot of work there. We have the potential in our community to connect everything. I know how important that would be. But let's go to the alternate C, and How did it come about that from those alternate plans, how did it come about to arrive at alternate C as the one that is being proposed to the Board of Supervisors?
Alternate C, like I mentioned before, David, is kind of a combination of the alternate that was established by the task force and the professional outlook of how a park should be laid out, the community input and their wants and needs, and taking that, massaging it all together, making sure you cover all the cultural diversities that are necessary, making sure that we accomplished our open space and the attachment to the River Trail Parkway, keeping all the educational aspects and the partnership potentials there, and the continuity. It allowed for that flow from, like Janelle said, San Juan Bautista, and ultimately ending at the historical park in Tres Pinos.
Right.
So, and that hub is key to another element of partnerships where we're being looked at now as that being a transit hub to allow people to use county transit to go to the hub at the historical park and then pick up potentially another transit system that would take them to the Pinnacles National Monument, and allowing people access to the entire county, the natural state of that entire River Trail Parkway without having to get in a car and drive there.
Were there any, during that process of designing the River Parkway, was there any issues like with drainage or flood zone issues or anything like that?
We did, yes, we did look at the flood zones and we looked at drainage issues. Actually, a lot of the flood zone areas and the drainage issues are some of the key components to the areas that we will be maintaining and rehabilitating some of the natural habitat areas that have been upset and damaged by illegal off-road vehicle use. Having this trail system in place and the use that it's intended for will actually help monitor all these illegal uses and the damage that's occurring from those.
I know when we had a discussion previously, Mark brought up a good point about the soul of the community. Paul, maybe you can bring that up about looking outside our communities and how important it is. Mark, that you were saying that
Sure. Well, Don touched on it earlier. He talked about a regional park as something of an economic benefit to the community. I think a lot of us think of parks and some community assets as something we pour money into and we don't receive those tangible economic benefits back. But recently, the Knight Foundation commissioned Gallup to do a poll in a diverse suite of municipalities across the country. One of them was San Jose, but the poll data included all of Santa Clara County and San Benito as well. And there were some startling findings. I think most of us, coming from a relatively economically challenged community, were asked what community asset we would most want to see developed. We'd probably say economic development. It's interesting that in almost 30 municipal areas across the country, there was absolute unanimity. The three most valued assets that people are looking for when they select a town, and I think that's important, so I'm going to back up. One of the things the survey found is that people select where they want to live, and then they select a career within that community. So really, what drives people's decision making are less tangible things, or quality of life things. So there were the three that emerged, and they emerged in every survey area, are people are looking for an attractive, developed, and natural environment. They're looking for a welcoming community where they feel like the people there are eager to have some new neighbors. And number one, the most important thing, and I think this is kind of startling, people want social opportunity. They're looking for a chance to be with one another. And I'm so excited about the regional park and the parkway as a way of knitting our communities together in so many ways, but also providing a strong economic benefit. This makes us a more attractive place for employees and ultimately employers. And that is a huge economic boon to our community.
Sure.
So I'm excited as a potential user or a future user. But I'm also excited because I think this really makes a measurable contribution to the well-being of our larger community.
Yeah. And when I think of the community, I think of our youth, and I think today's world, and with my daughter, and she's great, and she does wonderful things, but with her friends, and they spend a lot of time on cell phones and in front of computers, and I think that with these opportunities to go and intermingle with the natural world, I think that develops an appreciation for nature. I know that as a recreation leader, and I was a recreation leader, with youth sports and as a Boy Scout, that's how I got into this green business, and the green agenda. And I think that that's how important it is. And I also, I think that it's worth mentioning Wallace Stegner, who wrote the Wilderness Pulitzer Prize winner, founder of the Committee for Green Foothills. And his assertion was that it's not having green belts and open spaces available. It's not just for one's recreation or for activity, for health, but it's also for one's mental health and state of being. So I think that needs to be also stated. So, and John Muir, just a little quote, he says, "In every walk into nature, one receives far more than he seeks." And so I think that providing this park, I know it's still a ways to go in the planning stage. I know you have to go through some land acquisition and all that, but I think this would be a wonderful asset to our community. And in terms of economic development, of course, I remember you were saying, what kind of Hollister that you want to see.
Exactly.
This would be just make our community that much stronger and more attractive to employers who want to come in and hire people. And for job creation also, and decreasing our carbon footprint.
Well, and there's no real way for the community to get together in San Benito County. We have you always hear about the commuter crowd that's kind of the silent part of the community, and with something like this, I would hope people would get out in the public and mingle more, and we could share ideas, and it's a great focal point for the community. So, and then you mentioned about that open space. I moved to San Benito County about 10 years ago, and I was like, look at all this open space. I'll be able to take my mountain bike and everything. But I didn't realize it was all private property. So, it's very hard to get out and intermingle with the wilderness right in town there. So having something like this would just be able to hop on. I can't tell you, I think it would change the whole.
And it'd be much nicer to have a bike path instead of a Class 2 bike lane in a busy highway, to have one, right by in a nice riparian area.
I tried riding this San Juan Batista from Hollister once. That was enough. All right, so,
take your life in your hands.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the central hub of this regional park is going to provide the opportunity for our amphitheater, so we can have musical events. There will be the pool, the gathering point, a community center for community events. It is great. Yeah,
I was on the Guadalupe River Parkway website, and they had a list of calendar events here, and I see all these things happening for us. They have composting classes, a river run, a sustainable gardening workshop. It just goes on and on. Rose garden work days. They actually recruit people from the community to work in the park. The people a chance to work together. So it goes on and on and on. And I see that opportunity for us too. It'd be great.
Yeah, the variety of activities. I'm glad you mentioned that amphitheater, because I certainly would like to maybe go out there and do a little musical gig out there.
We can film a show. We can film a show from there, David.
Hey, well, this is just wonderful that you all were able to come out on our show today and talk about this wonderful project. I want to thank each one of you and the progress we're making. And I'd like to have on in the future, and as this progresses, is there, in terms of any person that's watching, a viewer watching, wants to get involved in this project, is there anyone, something, contact information or a website you can share with the viewers?
I would say to keep in touch with the Parks and Recreation Commission for San Benito County. If you go onto the county's website, you can find the Parks and Recreation Commission. Be a great source. They meet the third Tuesday of every month at 5:30.
All right, great.
Thank you.
And we would certainly appreciate the attendance and the input. This entire project was built on public input, so this is definitely a publicly created project. So we're excited and honored to be able to do this for the community.
Wonderful.
It's really exciting.
All right. Well, thanks. We'll see you guys in a future show.
Yeah.
Welcome back. You're watching Going Green, and as you can see, this is our holiday show. We have some green holiday decorations here with poinsettia plants and assortment of pine cones, if you will.
Did you go out and find those pine cones, Dan?
Yeah, I went up and got them at Nob Hill. Anyhow, so this is our hall. But most importantly, I just want to share with the viewers, this is our 2nd year anniversary of this show, and I just, we're in a festive mood here, and with the guests here, we're having a little discussion here. I wanted to keep them on the wrap here, and having such a wonderful time here talking and in a good mood talking about the wonderful project that we shared with you. But also on this 2nd year anniversary here, I want to say is that CMAP, who puts the show on, the Going Green show, our director who's up there in the control room, James Duesenberg, does a wonderful job. It's just great working with Val Jeffrey, our floor manager, and Sue, and there's a lot of folks here with CMAP, and many that, Kathy Bisbee, of course, and Jan Janes, who came up with this idea with the Green Business Committee, and it's been just a wonderful experience for me personally to be part of this show and to have wonderful projects and wonderful guests here to share with you. So with that, I also want to mention that CMAP is having their grand opening scheduled for January 24th. And hey, we want to see you out there. They're moving to Christopher High School, and it's going to be fun. I think that I'm hoping to have the band, the Architecturals, be out there playing, and there'll be dignitaries.
Architecturals?
Yeah. It's going to be something. So I want to thank.
I wanted to add something too about CMAP. I don't know what I would do. I do a lot of public outreach. In San Benito County, we really have no media that's really in our county. We have 2 newspapers that are struggling along, but we don't have any TV stations or radio that's particularly for San Benito County. So without CMAP, I couldn't really direct it at specifically at our community, and I'm thankful that they're here to assist us with getting out messages and talking about the community, because it's really been effective, and I appreciate it.
Hey, one message I want to share with you before we sign off, another quote from John Muir. When one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Going Green.